for a person who didn't have a rock bottom kind of experience that brought them to faith, sometimes promise this, you're going to feel changed. And it may be leaving some people in the wondering, like, well, did I do it right? Because I don't feel tingly.
Yeah.
You know, how do we process that?
Some people might be speeding along a road, breaking the speed limit, and maybe you know that you should be going slower, but nothing changes until all of a sudden you hear the woo sound and the lights behind you.
Instant conviction.
So I've heard.
And you also, though, understand the gravity of the situation in a much different way than you did when you were in the exact same situation a moment ago.
Yes.
Nothing changed about your circumstances other than now you're being called to account for what you're doing, right? And it feels different. I think that for some people, to the degree that we understand the depth of our sin is the degree that we understand the grace of God.
This and this.
Exactly.
I remember that illustration. Leviticus, I believe, when you first rolled
that'd probably be a good place to do it.
Yeah.
I think this is why rock bottom sort of gets its popularity is the wrong word, but it's esteem because somebody goes, well, I hit rock bottom and now maybe they have a greater appreciation for Christ. Well, it's because they heard the lights behind them. The situation they were in became very real and the consequences were present. And I think for a lot of people who, myself included, where you grow up in a Christian home, you're essentially having to cultivate an attitude of despising sin and recognizing the sin and the potential consequences of that sin, both temporally and eternally. You're just trying to wrap your mind around that, something that for many people when they go through a really hard time in life is instantly revealed to them. You're having to walk down that track on your own. So what am I saying is that for people who have had a life of ease, relatively speaking, you have to cultivate some sense of your own guilt, an understanding of it, so that when Jesus says your guilt is forgiven, that means something to you. And I think for a lot of people, what doesn't move them or change them is they just go or feel. We talked a lot about feelings on Sunday, the difference between knowing and feeling. They know that Christ has forgiven them. They know that they are headed to heaven and their eternity is secured, but they don't feel the need for Jesus. They wouldn't say something heretical like, I don't need Jesus, but the emotion tied to how much they need Jesus has not been realized. And so that's why I say this is why we go back to the cross over and over and over again, even when it's painful.